Level 1. The capture. It happens fast. One moment you are a soldier, the next you are not. Your unit has been overrun. The retreat turned into a rout. You threw your rifle down because the alternative was a bullet in the chest from a man 10 feet away. Your hands went up. Your war ended in a field somewhere in France, or North Africa, or the Pacific, depending on which year it is and which front you were fighting on. They take your weapons, your dog tags, your watch, your wallet. They take everything that makes you a person and leave you with a number. You are no longer Private James Holloway of the 51st Infantry Division. You are prisoner 4471. They march you for 3 days with almost no water. Men who fall behind are kicked back to their feet. One man in your column cannot walk anymore. The guards do not wait for him. You do not look back. You arrive at a processing camp. You give your name, rank, and serial number. That is all you are required to give under the Geneva Convention. That is all you will give. A German officer in a pressed uniform writes it down without looking at you. You are processed like luggage. You are loaded onto a train. You do not know where you are going. Level 2, the new man. The camp is called a Stalag. Stammlager, base camp. There are hundreds of them scattered across Germany and occupied Europe. Yours is in Eastern Germany, somewhere near the Polish border. The sign above the gate reads something you cannot pronounce. Inside the wire, an older prisoner sizes you up immediately. He has been here 2 years. His uniform is worn thin at the elbows. He looks like he weighs 40 pounds less than he should. He tells you the rules before the guards do. Do not run. Do not touch the warning wire. Do not argue with the ferrets. The ferrets are the guards who crawl under the huts looking for tunnels and contraband. They are everywhere. Assume they speak better English than they let on. They almost always do. Your barracks is a long wooden hut with a cast iron stove at one end that is never warm enough. 50 men sleep in 3-tiered bunks. The mattresses are wood shavings stuffed into burlap. The blankets are thin. In January, men sleep in their clothes and still shiver until morning. You eat twice a day, a bowl of watery turnip soup and a piece of black bread in the morning. The same thing at night, sometimes with a spoonful of margarine. Occasionally, there is a Red Cross parcel, powdered milk, tinned meat, chocolate, cigarettes. Cigarettes are currency. A bar of chocolate can get you almost anything. You are hungry every day of every week for as long as you are here. Level 3, the routine. Days in a POW camp do not pass. They accumulate. They stack on top of each other like identical stones until time stops having meaning. You wake at 6. Roll call is at 6:30. You stand in rows while the Germans count you. This is called an appel. It happens twice a day, morning and evening, regardless of weather. If the count is wrong, which it occasionally is, you stand there for hours while they recount. In winter, men have collapsed during appel. The Germans count them lying on the ground. After roll call, there is nothing, officially nothing. The Germans do not have to provide you with work or entertainment. They provide you with time, which is both the gift and the punishment of imprisonment. Men organize their own survival. There are classes taught in the barracks, mathematics, languages, history, anything someone knows well enough to teach. There is a theater group that performs plays with costumes made from dyed sheets. There is a camp newspaper written by hand and passed from hut to hut. There is a chaplain who holds services every Sunday in the corner of Hut 7 and never once runs out of things to pray for. You find your rhythm. You learn to move slowly to conserve calories. You learn to sleep whenever you can. You learn to think about food only at designated times, because otherwise it consumes you entirely. Level 4. The organization. The camp has a shadow government, and the Germans tolerate it because it makes their job easier. The senior British officer, the SBO, is the highest-ranking prisoner in the camp. He is a wing commander who was shot down over the channel in 1941. He runs the camp like a military unit, because that is the only way to keep 400 men from falling apart. He resolves disputes. He negotiates with the commandant over ration shortfalls and medical supplies. He maintains discipline, which is harder than it sounds when men are starving and bored and frightened and far from home. Below him is a committee structure. There are men responsible for food distribution, for medical supplies, for contact with the International Red Cross, for morale. Everything is organized because organization is the difference between a camp that functions and one that collapses into chaos. You are assigned to the food committee. You count tins, weigh bread, divide parcels into equal portions. It is the most important job in the camp and also the most thankless. There is never enough, and everyone knows it, and some of them look at you like it is your fault. You do it anyway. It gives you purpose. In a place designed to take everything from you, purpose is the one thing they cannot issue or revoke. Level 5. The Escape Committee. You did not go looking for them, they came to you. 3 months into your imprisonment, a man named Fletcher pulls you aside after Appel and asks if you want to do something useful. Fletcher runs the Escape Committee. Every major stalag has one. Theirs has been operating for 14 months and has so far produced 6 escape attempts, 2 successful completions to the Swiss border, and 4 recaptures. The Escape Committee is a full organization. There are tunnel diggers, called penguins, because they walk with soil stuffed in bags down their trouser legs and release it in the yard with every step. There are forgers producing fake identity papers using homemade ink and stolen stamps. There are tailors converting uniforms into civilian clothes. There are intelligence men who map guard rotations, measure distances, and time the searchlights to the second. Your job is intelligence. You walk the perimeter twice a day at designated times. You count steps. You note where the guards pause, where they shelter from the wind, where the blind spots fall when the searchlight sweeps left. You pass everything to Fletcher in folded pieces of paper during meals. You are not building a tunnel. You are building the information that makes a tunnel possible. The difference feels abstract until the night 76 men go down into the earth and crawl toward freedom through a passage named Harry, 330 feet of darkness and cold air, and you realize your footsteps helped put them there. Level 6, the recaptured. 50 of the 76 are caught within days. You are not one of them. You made it to a railway station before a Gestapo officer noticed that your civilian coat was too well fitted and your German was not quite right. They bring you back. You have 14 days in the cooler, which is the solitary confinement block. A concrete room barely wide enough to lie down. A single bare bulb, no books, no conversation, nothing but your own thoughts for 14 days and 14 nights. The cooler is designed to break you. It does not break you, but it changes you. You come out thinner and quieter and slightly more certain about what you are willing to endure. The commandant reminds you that under the conventions, you cannot be punished further for attempting to escape. Escape is considered a soldier's duty. He says this without warmth. He returns your number. You return to the hut. Fletcher nods at you from across the room. Planning for the next attempt begins the following morning. Level 7, the final winter. By early 1945, something has changed in the camp that nobody talks about directly. The guards are older. The rations are smaller. The Red Cross parcels stop arriving for 6 weeks because the railways are being bombed. Men are surviving on 800 calories a day, which is not enough to survive on. Not really. You hear artillery in the distance. Some nights it is close enough to rattle the hut windows. The Germans are losing and everyone knows it, including the Germans. And that is the most dangerous time to be a prisoner, because desperate men make reckless decisions. In January, the order comes. The camp is being evacuated. You march west in temperatures below zero, hundreds of prisoners moving through snow along roads clogged with retreating German columns. This is later called the Long March. Men who fall do not always get back up. You keep moving because stopping means dying, and you have survived too much to die in a ditch in Silesia with liberation somewhere behind you. You walk for 11 days. Level 8. The wire goes down. An American Jeep rolls through the front gate on a Tuesday morning. A young soldier from Ohio who looks about 19 years old stares at the 400 men staring back at him and does not know what to say. Nobody does. You weigh 31 pounds less than the day you were captured. Your teeth are loose from vitamin deficiency. You have not slept a full night without waking at 3 in the morning with your heart pounding since 1943. They give you food and a blanket, and someone takes down your name and serial number and sends a telegram to an address in England where your mother has not received a letter in 4 months and has spent those 4 months not sleeping either. You go home, You try to explain what it was like. You find that you cannot. The words exist, but the meaning does not transfer. You were a soldier, then a number, then a ghost in the wire for years of your life that will never come back. You do not talk about it much after that. Most of the men who were there do not. Some things are not meant to be carried out of the room they happened in. You carry them anyway. That is what survivors do. That is all they can do. The wire is down. The gate is open. You walk out and do not look back.